Security is hard because it's ever changing. What we're seeing today isn't what we saw last year, and what we're seeing last year wasn't what we saw 5 years ago. We talked briefly, I remember the first networked server infrastructure I ever installed was Windows 2000. It's either NT4 or 2000, I can't remember which one, but we interconnected all the computers, we loaded them together, they started to communicate. We recommended that they put antivirus on the computers because at least one of those computers was attached to the internet. And they said, nah, that's okay, we don't need antivirus. Nobody's gonna try to give us a virus. There's no reason for you to have it. And I think that that's just kind of the ever evolving standpoint that people have when it comes to business technology, is they keep thinking, well, it's like, I'm too small a fish, they're not going to mess with me. And the methods by which they're trying to infiltrate your network, whether that's social engineering, whether that's actual like finding vulnerabilities in your network with 0 days, whether that's brute force trying to hack your systems, all of those things mean that at any given moment, you've got 30 different attack vectors that could happen with your organization. And you have to try to not only protect yourself from those, but also mitigate the risk that involves with the eventuality of a breach from one of those attack vectors. And it's hard and it's constantly evolving. Like I know Ruben you're probably having a very different conversations with every single client that you have regarding what their security position is and why it's important, and the difference between 90-day password management policies and MFA, right? And how that's even changed in the last year.
Right. And, as I mentioned, I had a client who we had made those recommendations. We had made several recommendations, and they were slow to accept those recommendations and implement them, and they got breached. And when I called to check on them, the first thing my point of contact said was, "You called it. You knew this was going to happen, didn't you?" It's like, yeah, I told you you need to do this. And the attacks are so common now that you've got to have these things in place.
It's honestly like wearing a seatbelt. Like eventually you're going to get into an accident. It's going to happen at some point, right? It's just making sure that you're mitigating that risk. And it could be a severe accident, it could be a fender bender, but having those safety protocols in place, whether that's airbag, seatbelt, whatever, those are things that you would never think twice about wanting to have in place anymore. You know that they're not going to be something that you're going to use every day, and that 10 years ago maybe airbags seemed like they were an expensive luxury, but now everybody has them in their cars, right? And people don't even think about paying the extra cost to have those safety protocols in their cars. The same thing goes with your business, right? These safety protocols are things that you need to have in place in order to mitigate your risk.